going that way. You go indeed. What is up, crypto fam? Welcome back to Sin City Crypto. It's one of your co-hosts here, David, coming at you live from Global Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, here with one of our amazing deep dive episodes. But before we get into content, real quick disclaimer, we are not financial advisors. Don't take anything we say as financial advice. Do your own research. With that being said, let's meet your other co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola, it's your boy, Big Rob. Welcome back to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we are entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, boring, and stale information, package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, if it's your first time checking us out, we don't only do deep dives, we do live streams as well. This is the deep dive, though. We do live streams at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. Also, we're a young, growing channel. Grow with us. Please subscribe, like the channel, especially if you like the content, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of the awesome content to come.
Beautiful.
David.
My friends, today we are doing a deep dive into an amazing project called The Graph. Now, imagine this. You're trying to find an obscure piece of information on the internet. You Google it, only to find yourself scrolling through 40 pages to find the information. You finally get a link to a website, but it's not the most reputable. Do you roll with it? Do you keep searching? How long would it take you to search for that information, find it, validate it, and then use it? My guess is it would take you hours, if not longer, not to mention the frustration you'll be feeling going through that entire process. What if I told you there's a program out there that can find that data for you in a couple of minutes, if that? Let me introduce you to The Graph. A little bit of history about The Graph. The Graph is an indexing protocol for questioning and verifying data for networks like Ethereum, powering many applications in both DeFi and the broader Web3 ecosystem. The initial co-founding team includes Yaniv Tal, which is a project lead, Brandon Ramirez, who's a research lead, and Giannis Pullman, which is the tech lead. They all have engineering backgrounds and have worked together for 8 years. Now, Yaniv and Brandon studied electrical engineering at USC and worked together at MuleSoft. Let's get into what makes this project exciting, the utility. Now, the main utility of the graph offers is their ability to find solutions for data that's difficult to find. Projects with complex smart contracts, let's say like Bored Ape Yacht Club, they store data on the Ethereum blockchain, making it extremely difficult to read anything other than the basic information. The graph can gather info on data such as, example, the owner of a certain ape or the total supply, as these operations are programmed directly into the smart contract. Any other data is really extremely hard to aggregate. For example, let's say if we wanted to find specific addresses that own apes and filter it by one of its characteristics, we wouldn't be able to find that information by reading the smart contract directly. You would have to process every single transfer ever made, read the data, and then sort it all out. It would take hours or even days for a dApp to get that answer for you. This is where the graph steps in. They are able to get the answers to these requests using their framework and protocol. The graph network consists of 3 things: indexers, curators, and delegators that provide services to the network. To ensure security and integrity, participants stake and use the graph token. Now let's put up that first picture we have here for you guys. This shows you the breakdown of the different roles here. We're going to go over them here in a second. Active indexers, curators, and delegators can provide services and earn income from the network depending on how much GRT token they have staked and how much work they do. Now, what is an indexer? Indexers are node operators that stake graph tokens in order to provide processing services. Indexers are the ones that select the subgraphs to index. Now, you might be asking, what's a subgraph? A subgraph defines which data the graph will index and how it'll be stored. What's a curator? Curators use their blockchain expertise to assess and decide which subgraphs will be picked to get indexed. The graph network rewards curators that signal on good quality subgraphs, and they are financially incentivized to signal early. What is a delegator? Delegators choose the indexers to find the needed data. Delegators get a share of the fees paid to the indexers, and it's up to the indexers what that fee percentage will be. So some indexers are a little more generous. They'll pay more to the delegators. Some are not. So it all depends on the indexer, how much money the delegator will get. Now, there is a deposit tax for delegators to disincentivize bad decisions that could hurt the overall network. So, in summation, a request for info on the graph network is made. The curators indicate which subgraphs should be prioritized and send those to the delegators. The delegators, in turn, assign separate indexers to those subgraphs. Then the indexers complete the cycle by finding the data requested and pass that info on to the customer. It's that simple, yet so important. There are over 6,000 developers actively using the graph and have built over 3,400 subgraphs. Now, let's get into some partnerships. We know how important partnerships are for the growth and stability of a project. The graph is currently partnered with the Ethereum network. There are more chains that are in the beta phase, including, let's show the picture here. You got a few names there: Near Protocol, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, CeeLo, Avalanche, and Phantom, just to name a few. Now, who are some of the investors that have money in the graph? Let's put up the next graphic. We have some names you might recognize: Coinbase Ventures, Compound, JD Capital, and much, much more. You can see from the picture there. Read for yourself what else they have going on. Now, one of my favorite subjects to talk about is the tokenomics. GRT is the native token of the graph. Let's pull up that pie chart, please. Here's how the overall distribution works. You have 35% that went to the community, 17% that went to early backers, 17% that went to not early backers. So you have a total of 34% that went to people who backed the project, which is a lot. It's a lot. Edge and node operators get 8%, and early team and advisors get 23%. So if we do the math, we have 34 plus 23. That's 50. 34 plus 23. 57% of the tokens are for the team, the founders, and the early backers. Robin, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's too much of the token going to investors and the founding team?
What was the percentage one more time? You said
Total of 17, 17, 20, 17, 17, 23. So 34, 23, 57%. 57% of the tokens are being held by backers and the team. Is that a cause for concern?
I think the standard is generally 20 to 50%. So it's definitely on the higher end, in my opinion. But it just depends on what they're using it for. Sometimes when they say team, it actually ends up going to mining rewards or stake pool rewards for operators. So it just depends on how that breaks down. But just from the outside looking in, not the most sexiest token allocation by the founders. Also, just really curious. Did you look into like the vesting schedule at all, like and the lockup periods for the founders? No,
I don't think there was an outline. All the information we get is from reputable sources like their website.
Right.
So
if they're not listing a vesting schedule, that's something that they generally would market pretty heavily
if it was positive.
Yeah. So if they have like a really good vesting schedule, generally it'll be listed out right front and center on their webpage because they want people to feel comfortable with certain token allocations. So
the graph has been around for a while. So me personally, I'm not too worried about that. But hey, everyone, different risk tolerance, different things they look at as far as how to judge if a project is risky or not. In my opinion, this is far from it. So the graph token has an inflation rate of 3%, but some of that is offset by the burning of 1% of all network fees. So the net is going to be 2% inflation rate per year. Now, I'm going to send it over to Robin. He's going to go over market cap price, the rank, supply, charts, all the fun stuff. Take it away, Rob.
All right. So I'm going to let you know. Is it a good time to enter? Is it a good time to buy? Can we make some money off of it? That's what I want to know. So just pulling up the laptop here. We have the graph. Today's filming, by the way, is today's date is 12/27/2021. Price is at 75 cents. So taking a peek at the monthly chart first, we have over $1 at the beginning of the month, currently sitting at 75 cents. So just in the short term, you have a potential of about 25% increase to get it back to where it was a month ago. And then let's take a look at the yearly price. So with the year, a lot of the coins did pump a lot. We were sitting at 32 cents 1 year ago, reaching yearly highs of $2.30. And then we're back to 75. So I like to look at the yearly price as an indicator of where the price will go in the short to midterm. So basically within a year to 2 years. And so I could easily see $2.30, which is more than a 3x. This project has been around for a long time, and it has a ton of liquidity.
Beautiful.
Basically, this is the poster child for liquidity. Binance, Binance.us, Coinbase, and KuCoin, and a list of other exchanges as well. So if you need to pick some up, shouldn't have any problem finding it.
Absolutely.
But most importantly to know, with lots of liquidity comes the ability to get really big rallies and pumps and reach really good numbers. So a lot of profitability available there. Also, we'll just take a quick peek at the all-time. So it's been around. Okay, it's been around since 2020. So it's actually not too old it's not too old. It's still a relatively new project. So David, question.
Yes.
So I'm done here with the charts.
Okay.
What is it sounds awfully a lot like an oracle when you talk about like the graph and the data. What distinguishes an oracle, for our viewers? How would you separate an oracle and more or less what the graph is offering?
So
how does that make it different?
So the way an oracle works is an oracle takes data from the real world. Let's say the temperature, a certain wide receiver in the NFL had a certain amount of yards, information that a smart contract needs to execute. They'll take that information from the real world and feed it into the smart contract. What the graph does is it takes data that's already in the smart contract and it pulls the hard to get data out of it and gives it to the consumer that's requesting it. So instead of data going into the smart contract, with the graph, data is coming out of the smart contract. So that would be the biggest difference.
Okay, so you can basically aggregate data
that's
as
already
far as a corporation, or if you were requesting data for just yourself individually, you could find it.
Correct,
via
but
the graph.
it's mostly for other projects, corporations, not necessarily individual people. Technically, you could if you wanted to, but the main use case is definitely.
How does a corporation make that a profit? Is it just straight up used for their?
They can use it for anything like marketing information if they want to launch a new project.
The same kind of marketing
or
desire you would have for like a traditional marketing with data, except for now you're just doing a blockchain version.
Or, we gave you the example of the Bored Apes. If you're the project lead on Bored Ape and you want to find specific information, 6 months after the project's launch, you can go to the graph and they can find that information for you.
Oh, and then make
adjustments, changes, anything you want.
Projects to the data that you could.
Yep. Now, for the future and conclusion of this project, there is no question that the need for the service that the graph is providing is necessary. Imagine a college textbook with no index or chapters. How difficult and time-consuming would it be for you to find one piece of specific information you need? As the use and implementation of smart contracts increases, so will the need for hard-to-find data to be found. There is no outlined roadmap for the graph, but the partnerships they have in place and in the pipeline can be huge. We should see the graph being implemented in all the top layer 1 protocols in the near future. And when that happens, well, you can probably guess what that'll mean for the market cap of this project. I don't expect to see any parabolic movements in the price of GRT token. So if you're looking for a moonshot or a lottery ticket, this ain't the project for you. But if you want to invest in a project or token that will give you steady growth for years to come, then it might not be a bad idea to look into buying some GRT. So with that being said, my friends, we are done with our deep dive today. If you like the content, make sure you like the video. Hit that subscribe button. We got a lot of more great content coming your way. Come back Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for our live shows. On behalf of me and Robin, we love you guys. We'll see you next time. Mucho te easy.
Thank you. Take it easy.
Bleh.